say something.
Brian, do you have a statement, Brian?
I got a statement.
He said, Bishop Gates said don't say nothing. Okay.
Listen,
I mean, 9 months is still a long time to be gone from your family, your loved ones, and your church, especially as a pastor. Welcome back to Spiritual Ish. I'm the Prophet, your number one place for all things prophetic as it relates to Christ, culture, church, conversation, and controversy. Let's get into this. So today, Brian Carn was found guilty. You know that he was on trial for tax evasion, tax fraud. And unfortunately, this was not the results that everyone wanted on his team, but he has been sentenced to 9 months in federal prison. Today, he was seen outside of the courtroom where he made an appearance with his attorney, some of his staff. Of course, the saints were there from his church, and then to the right of him is Bishop Lambert Gates. So they tried to get him to make a statement. Thais actually was there on the scene to try to get live commentary, and Brian Carn wanted to make a statement, but as soon as he began to speak, all of a sudden, Bishop Lambert Gates snatched him and was like, don't say anything. Now, apparently, watching live, the attorney was going to allow him to speak, but that didn't happen. So the attorney, came forward, of course, thanks to judge, thanks to community for their outpouring of love. And then he's like, Brian Carn does so much for so many people, loves so many people, takes care of so many people. So we just want to go ahead and get this over with and let that be that. But if you go back to the prior court documents, the bigger issue was, what the prosecutor has stated before in those official documents, is that due to his statements that he was making online, being arrogant, and, stating that, everything's going to be all right, and, it's just no big deal, and God's going to take care of it. You can't do that when it comes to federal court. This is why church people, we have to already have attorneys, okay? We already have to have our ducks in a row. And when you're facing something like that, you cannot get up in church. They pulled all of his videos from online, from every interview that he did, from every discussion that he did, from every post that he posted. And the prosecutor was pushing for him to serve jail time. And they said specifically they want him to serve jail time to prove to other pastors that this is not a joke. So this seems like this could be the start of something else. It is sad and unfortunate, and I don't glory in anybody's demise. So I do feel bad for him because, of course, he has children. He has his mom and that kind of thing. But when you're arrogant like this, and then you don't show any humility, and you're thinking that it's just whatever. These judges, these court systems will show you, and especially as a black man, they're going to try and humble you. But, you do the crime, you do the time. And initially they stated in the court documents that they just wanted him to pay restitution, which could have been the thing. But because of the statements that he was making online, the prosecutor then said, you know what? No, we don't want just restitution. We want him to serve time. And so again, 9 months. And then I'm going to put the clip at the end, and then we'll, see what happens from there. But again, this is unfortunate because, again, you're a pastor. You have a fold of people who follow you in multiple locations. We don't know how long that's going to last because these people are committed to you. They're not committed to KCC, which is the work that you built. So we'll see. Time will tell. But more than likely, those people will probably stay around for maybe 30, maybe 60 days. But after that, they're going to move apart because, they are reliant on your gift and you. And so there is no one in your stead that could possibly hold that. Now I have a couple of names who I think who could, maintain that because they really love Carn and would see, to the benefit of his church being maintained. But it just is what it is. And so again, 9 months in federal prison. He has 45 days to turn himself in, and then we'll see, what happens from there. And so, I don't know. They didn't say whether or not, and of course we'll wait for the official transcript. They didn't say whether or not, that time could be shortened, for good behavior. But that's a mandatory sentence of 9 months. So, well wishes to him, prayers to him and his family, because this is definitely a critical time for them. It's just unfortunate that you have, even outside of this, you have his church members, of course, they're going to be touchy-feely. It's about their pastor, whatever. But, you're outside trying to argue with people who are, vloggers and news reporters, and then you're outside chanting, more grace, looking crazy. Like, this is not the time for that. You understand what I'm saying? And so, It just is what it is. It is what it is. Again, I'm the prophet. Welcome back to Spiritual Issue, number one place for all things prophetic, as relates to Christ, culture, commentary, and controversy. And we'll see what happens. We'll be reporting because, again, he made a statement that they're just going to, they're going to do a public conversation at church. I think this was the best time for him to make a statement, honestly, but we'll see what happens. All right? All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right? Peace. I'm out.
Don't say nothing. Okay. I'll see you at church.
I'm gonna say
Bishop,
something.
are you saying Bishop Gates?
I'm gonna say something.
Brian, do you have a statement, Brian?
I got a statement.
He said Bishop Gates said don't say nothing. Okay.
Listen,
That's what he said.
All right.
Yeah, what he